LoneStar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gold Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe.
And 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe. And worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome to Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour. I am your host, Douglas B. You can listen to us live the first Tuesday of every month on Lone Star Community Radio. What else do I usually say? First Tuesday of every month, Veterans Air, or on Conroe's very own FM 106.1 and 104.5. Facebook Live, YouTube, RCity TV, and wherever you get your fine podcasts. As always, a little housekeeping before we get started today. You can contact Veterans Air through our website at www.veteransair.us. Leave us a message, send us an email, or better yet, text us in the studio on our Google phone, 936-344-3083. I did have a guest lined up for you, Chaplain Jim Russell, but unfortunately he's gotten lost along the way, so I'm just gonna wing it for today. All good listeners, if you remember, last month was Suicide Prevention Month. What you don't may know is that Chaplain Jim Russell runs an excellent suicide intervention course that we as individuals can make a difference at. Suicide prevention for veterans and suicide awareness and intervention, that is a heartfelt topic for us veterans. When we lose a battle buddy to suicide, we think, what the hell could I have done better? I must have done something wrong. I wasn't there when he reached out. But you know, not everybody reaches out the same way. When you're talking to your battle buddy and you say, how you doing? He says, fine. That may not necessarily mean that he's truly fine. It means that he's getting really good at hiding it well. Are you all familiar with the country and western artist Jelly Roll? He's the big guy with tattoos all over his face. Jelly Roll released a song recently, a couple of months ago. The title of the song is I'm Not Okay. I would encourage you all to go over to your Alexa. Let me say that loud so all of your Alexas go off. Alexa! Everybody out there is hating me now. Go over to your Alexa or your YouTube or wherever you get your music from and put in Jelly Roll, I'm Not Okay, and listen to the lyrics of that song. That's going to tell you a hell of a lot about your battle buddy that may be struggling. And now listen to me. There's no, or there should not be any stigma, if that's the word I'm searching for, dealing with mental health. My daughter is a licensed therapist and counselor. And while she has her master's degree and working towards her PhD, excuse me, I have a horrible dry mouth today. Smoking too much pot, I guess. I say these things just to make Dick shake his head. She is very, very well versed in mental health in a number of different disciplines. Yeah, I'm bragging on my daughter. But here's the thing, and we've said this before on this show. We've actually did this before on this show. Everybody has demons. Everybody has demons. But my demons are not the same as your demons, are not the same as Dick's demons. We all have different demons. And in the middle of the night, when your demon is sitting on your shoulder telling you you can't withstand the storm, it's really hard to say the next morning that I am the storm. I'm sorry, when your demons come out to play, you might be 3 a.m., maybe 3 a.m. in the morning, you're curled up in your bathtub, eating a pint of Cherry Garcia with your spork. And everybody's done that. Everybody's done that. And if you haven't done that, I'm betting you think that you will be able to. The stigma behind mental illness is what we need to change. That's what we need to change in this country. Now, mental illness is nothing new. PTSD is nothing new. Let me say that again. PTSD is nothing new. We just called it different names throughout the years of this country. It used to be battle fatigue, shell shock. They're all the same thing. We've just called them different names to make it more convenient for us. There's any number of organizations that can help you with your demons. And what therapy or counseling is good for me is not the therapy and counseling that may be for you. I say this to bring up a point. You're not suffering alone, or your battle buddy is not suffering alone. You, your battle buddy, your neighbor next door, they have family, they have friends, and they're suffering just as much as the person needing help. I was recently talking to a colleague of mine, and my colleague was telling me about an employee that they work with that is starting to have some erratic behavioral problems at work. And I encouraged my colleague to have a one-on-one conversation with that individual to see what's going on. Maybe there's something going on in their lives that you can fix easily for them. Maybe it's something deeper. But don't be afraid to have that conversation. And I told my colleague that when you look at this person, you need to realize that there's two of this persons. Joe is not only your employee, but Joe is also your friend. So you have to treat Joe differently depending on what's going on. Now, as you all know, I'm a businessman, and I'm a horrible, horrible boss, because I believe that when I hired you and you agreed to work for me, that you're going to do what I say, when I say it, in the manner in which I say it. And if that's too much for you, there's the door. But I like to think that I'm a good friend. And I'm able to separate employees and workmates with my friends. You need to do the same thing if you're in this work situation. You need to look at your friend Joe here critically as a work individual. Is he able to do his job? Is he distracted to the point where injuries can happen or that a project doesn't come in on time? That's one set of problems. You as his workmate, now maybe his employer, maybe you're Joe's employer, you have to deal with that individual as if they were a work asset. That being said, once you've counseled Joe, the employee, you need to go back to Joe and go, Joe, what the hell is going on? Talk to me. Talk to me, brother. Tell me what's going on, because we can work through this together. That's support. That's suicide intervention. That's suicide prevention. In a way, veterans are lucky because we were never alone. I know some of you out there have had a horrible military experience. But veterans as a class, we're never alone. We always have somebody that will have our back for us if we only ask. And there's the rub, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be able to ask. But we don't. Most of the time, we just don't do it. We just don't ask. Today's show, I should have started out with that, Dick. Why don't you keep me online? The title of today's show is Duty, Leadership, Youth, and God. It's still early. It's only 15 minutes, right, Dick? Can I do a break now? Yeah, Dick says, I don't care. We're going to do a break. We're going to do a break. We're going to do a shout out. We're going to do a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about duty, leadership, youth, and God. Let me give a shout out to our show sponsors before I forget. Veterans Air is made possible by the support of East Meets West Productions, a full-service business and marketing consulting firm helping veterans start and fund their business for over 30-some-odd years. If you're starting a business and you're a veteran, or you need to fund your business, then give the good people at East Meets West Productions a call. You can give more information at 361-904-0044. And we like East Meets West because they actually pay me my salary while I'm sitting here talking to you. And it's also made possible by the good sponsorship from United Healthcare agent Andrea Corpening. God, Andrea, after 2 years, I still can't pronounce your last name. But I love you, baby. And we have a short commercial from her. Dick, run that commercial, and then stay tuned because we'll be right back.
Medicare can be confusing, but it doesn't have to be. My name is Andrea Corpening, and I am an agent authorized to offer AARP Medicare plans from United Healthcare Insurance Company. I can guide my clients through understanding Medicare coverage options and help them discover what may make AARP Medicare plans from United Healthcare a great choice. I can be reached at 281-773-6239. That's Andrea Corpening at 281-773-6239. I can help those find a plan with confidence.
Welcome back to Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour, your source for news, talk, and uncensored commentary. Before our break, we were talking about suicide prevention and intervention. And I told you to look up Chaplain Jim Russell. You can find him on Facebook. Very interesting guy, runs a great course on suicide intervention, and I encourage you all to take his course. Now, Chaplain Jim just so happens to be the chaplain for the Secret Service. And, of course, he's a life member of the VFW. And this year he's running for the state chaplain position for the VFW. So please take a look at Chaplain Jim Russell and give him your support. I can't speak highly enough from this individual. Now, the way that I found Chaplain Jim is twofold. First, I took a suicide intervention course that was given at the VFW 4709. Again, excellent course. And I started following his Facebook posts. And back in August, he did a Facebook post that reads, quote, "The reward of doing one's duty is the power to serve others. A man who neglects his duty as a citizen is not entitled to his rights as a citizen." Welcome to the duty portion of this show. Well, I was so impressed with this meme that he wrote that I had to give him a call and go, "Hey, can I get you on the show?" And this is my screw up, because I was not as communicative with Reverend Jim as I was with others, because September got away with me. Before I knew it, it's the day before the show, and I'm scrambling to try to get things together. So, Chaplain Jim, if you're out there and listening to this and going, "Oh no," yeah, I share blame for you not being here. But I want to talk about duty, leadership, youth, and God today. And this is not a religious show. I don't care what religion you're in. God for me encompasses all of the religions. God for me is different from religion. They're mutually exclusive. Well, let's talk about duty, leadership, and youth. Because last month, I was invited to attend the Texas Youth Summit. This summit was about youth's call to duty, God, and leadership. I'll have a podcast coming out shortly in the next couple of weeks or so about the summit, what happened there, along with some interviews with congressmen and women and youth that attended. So if you're not following Veterans Air on Facebook, you should. Facebook.com/VeteransAir. And then you won't miss this podcast. If you haven't been to the Youth Summit, and this has been going on for the past couple of years, Congressman Kristen Collins sponsors this and puts this on. Speakers all day long, workshops all day long. It was held down at the Marriott in the Woodlands this year, and I was very honored to go, and I learned a lot. I learned that youth today's youth, and when I say youth, I'm not talking about, 7, 8, 5-year-olds. No, I'm talking preteens to college age. That's where this summit is pretty much aimed, between the teens and college students. And they had speakers, as I said, like Congressman Kristen Collins, Congressman Wesley Hunt, Congressman Cruz's chief of staff was there. Interesting individual. And along with business leaders and whatnot. The summit itself and the information they put out was of top shelf quality. And the speakers knew what they were speaking about. They weren't just giving platitudes out. They were talking in depth about what your duty is as a citizen. They were talking about how to build leadership personally, how to build your leadership skills. They were talking about the things that you must do to honor your God. And this struck me very, very deeply, the level of these talks. And I want to apologize right now to Congressman Wesley Hunt. Very dynamic speaker. If you've never heard him speak before, go to one of his town halls. Very dynamic speaker. I thought I knew who he was. I was wrong. So I'm sitting in the back of the auditorium there, and it's a huge auditorium, absolutely huge. And he's up on stage and he's giving his talk, and he told us that he, at a young age, knew what his duty was. and that he, as a young age, knew that he was called to lead within that duty. And to do that, he joined the Army. He's a helicopter pilot in the Army, or was, he's retired now. He ran 55 combat missions and a handful of rescue missions during the most recent wars. That's a lot to fly. And not only did he do that, but his older brother was in the military, retired. His sister, his other brother, still in the military. As a matter of fact, his entire family served. Now, joining the military is not for everyone. And I don't encourage every single person to join the military. For him and his siblings, that was the path that they chose to honor their God, do their duty, and be leaders. The youth today, they're coming behind us. They're the future of our leadership in this great nation of ours. We do our youth a disservice, a great disservice, by not holding them to their duty, not teaching them what their duty is as citizens, what their duty is as Christians, if you will, what their duty is to God. If we don't teach our youth of today these lessons, who is? Are you going to let your school that you send them to teach you these things? Because if you do, you're wrong. That's not happening in today's society. Now, as I'm trolling the exhibit hall and whatnot, who do I come across? I come across Kyle Rittenhouse. Do you guys remember Kyle Rittenhouse? 16-year-old boy back in 2020, defending his uncle's gas station with an AR. People shooting at him, he shoots back, kills some convict with a handgun, and they attempted to send him into jail. Well, Kyle has written a book, and I purchased the book. And I was talking with him for a little bit in between his autograph signing duties, and I thanked him for being a good American. And he was like dumbfounded by that. I can tell by the expression on his face that no one has ever thanked him for being a good American. But if you think about what Kyle did, that is a good American. He understood his duty to God, country, and family. He understood that. He understood that if he didn't stand up and take a leadership position during the riots, who else was going to? Now, I asked Kyle, because he's 21 now, I asked him if he ever thought about joining the military. And his response was, well, no, definitely not in this politically charged time. I don't want you to go to war. I looked down and I said, Kyle, you've already been to war. He's like, what? And I said, you stood on the front line. You defended your family. You defended your country. You were engaged in firefight. You were engaged in combat, and you kept your cool. You didn't break down and cry like a pansy. You took the proper actions as what were you, 16, 17 years old? You were just a kid. You're still a kid. You're only 21. But your actions spoke very highly of you as an American. And I want to thank you for being that American. Now, Kyle sat up a little bit taller and he said, I never thought of it like that. And I said, you need to think about that. Because the youth of today, and that includes you, Mr. Rittenhouse, you're called to duty, leadership, and honoring your God. and thus the Texas Youth Summit. Now, I talked to Christian for a little bit, and I actually owe him some questions so that I can have quotes for him on our show. And Congressman Wesley Hunt is actually going to be on this show as soon as we can get his schedule nailed down. But next year, Congressman Christian Collins, tells me that he's going to do this again next year. He's done it for the past 4 years. He's going to do it again next year. I strongly encourage you, if you're a youth listening to me, to go to this. If you're not, if you're an old guy like me, you still need to go. You need to absorb what this summit can teach you. Now, going back to Jim, to Reverend Jim, and his quote, "The reward for doing one's duty is the power to serve others." Let me say that again. The reward for doing your duty is the power to serve others. This you can take away and include in your daily life. Veterans understand this, and that's who I'm speaking to here. Your reward for your duty is that you get to serve others. And that doesn't stop when you get out of the service. This is why we have organizations like the VFW, the American Legion, and the DAV. So you can continue to serve, you can continue to receive the reward of your duty. Because a man who neglects his duty as a citizen is not entitled to his rights as a citizen. What's happening November 5th? Well, of course, it's this show, and everybody is going to be listening to it. All 4 of my listeners. But not only is it Election Day next month, but you as a citizen have a duty. You as a citizen has a duty to go vote. And if you're making your decision on who you're going to vote for by a 15-second soundbite, by the way they look, what race they are genetically, whether they're male or female, you're not doing your duty. That's right. You are uninformed and you are not doing your duty. You need to delve a little bit deeper. I'm going to do a litmus test this year. When I get into the voting booth, I'm going to ask myself this question. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? If yes, vote for Party A. If no, vote for Party B. And I'm going to do that on an individual basis, all the way down the line from the president to our local representatives. Because truthfully, that's the only test that you need to ask yourself. That's the only question you need to ask yourself. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago or 2 years ago, whatever the case may be for whatever race is running? That means not just economically, not just fiscally, but also your rights as a citizen. You have rights as a citizen, and they're enumerated in the U.S. Constitution. Oh, man, I don't have my book. I can't bang it. The Constitution spells out what your rights are. Are those rights still available today to you? I'm going to give you a big example right now. The First Amendment. Are you free to speak your mind without fear of persecution? By the way, being canceled is persecution. your First Amendment right, and it is the first right that's granted, that is enumerated, rather, in the Constitution. Your First Amendment right, the freedom of speech. The freedom of speech does not mean that you can stand on a soapbox and threaten someone else. Freedom of speech does not mean that you can walk into a movie theater and yell fire. Freedom of speech does not mean that you can kill somebody else because of what you perceive their stance on anything may be. But that's happening today, isn't it? Yes. Yes, it is. That's happening today. Go on Facebook and make a post that would be highly controversial. See whether or not, first off, you get flamed by people following you. 2, you get put in Facebook jail. And 3, they attempt to cancel you. Cancel your voice. Your rights are being infringed upon. And understand that your rights are not granted to you from the government. The government has zero power except for what we give it. We don't like the government, then we need to change the government, and the Constitution allows us to do that. Let's talk about leadership, because there's many different forms that leadership can take. Leadership in combat is very different than leadership running a food truck. But it's still leadership. Leadership is the ability in oneself to inspire others to greater performance. I was lucky in my military career that I had outstanding leaders above me, both NCOs and officers. And every single one of them taught me something. Every single one of them molded me to be a leader when it came my time to step up. That's leadership. Leadership is training those under you to finally take the position of leadership. Leadership is inspiring others to do better tomorrow than they did today. That's leadership. Leadership in the station is the AC on? It's freaking hot. Did Conrad run out of money? It's a bit warm here, so if I have a shine, excuse me. Dick didn't pay his bills. Sorry, brother. Leadership is something hard to define. And I do not believe that leaders are made. I'm sorry, I do not believe that leaders are born. Leaders are made. Take me, for example. I am extremely introverted, but I just learned to hide it well. Gives me leadership skills. Leadership skills. There are skills that are inherent within every single leader. And these are skills that they spend a lifetime perfecting and sharpening. We must teach our youth how to be leaders. Now, you ask 100 people, you're going to get 100 different definitions of what a leader is and how to teach our youth to be a leader. Some of those leadership skills are in the scouting programs and the Eagle Scouts. Some of them, these leadership skills, start to be taught by joining our junior ROTC, which is an excellent program, by the way. Leadership and leadership skills can be taught by your local church. We had a chaplain, priest, padre, I don't know what he calls himself, on here a couple of years ago, from Patriotic Restoration, Coach Yates. Now, Coach had started a program called Patriotic Restoration, and its mission was to bring patriotism and civic duties back into the schools of today, to teach these things. And he was a youth minister, that's what he is. He was a youth minister for many, many, many years. And he taught the youth that went to his ministry how to be leaders in their community. He didn't teach them so much to go forth and spread the word of God, but he taught them how to lead, how to be leaders in their community. A leader and a leadership is not a bad word. But if you're thinking that those that we elect to public office are our leaders, you are sorely mistaken. They are not. They are our representatives. When I try to teach somebody a leadership skill, that's one of the things that I teach them. I teach them that those elected officials are not your leaders. You're the leader of them. You have to know where you fit in the dynamic. Now, teaching the youth of today about their duties and developing their leadership and understanding their God are all part and parcel of becoming an effective adult. Adult is not a chronological age. I am sorry to say that adult is not a chronological age. Adult is being functional, being responsible for yourself and for those that you love. You have many duties placed upon you. And I'm talking to the adult out there. You have many duties placed upon you. You have the duty to your family, duty to your God, duty to your country, duty to your employer. A whole bunch of different things encompass duty. And you need to understand how duty applies to different aspects of your life. Now, as a veteran, I talk a lot about duty, and I'm very sad that I no longer wear the uniform and can do my duty to my country. Some people say that's not true, Doug. You're still doing your duty to your country. Just by being alive, just by doing this show, by being active in the VFW, the American Legion, and the DAV, you're doing your duty. That may or may not be true. I got what, 15 minutes? Yeah, I got around 15 minutes. So each and every one of us must focus on what our duties are. Duty to country, duty to family, duty to your God. Now, we've mentioned God a couple of times in this program. But I think for you to understand duty, leadership, and youth, you need to understand God. I believe that there is a God. I don't care what you call him. You know, the spaghetti monster. God is just the name that I give to what I believe is an intelligence greater than mine. No, that doesn't mean that you're a God because you're smarter than me. I believe that there is a difference between duty to God and duty to your religion. For me personally, my faith and religion are mutually exclusive. Absolutely, positively. But I found God. I have not found Jesus. I found God. 6, 7 years ago when I had my neck surgery. Almost died, found God. It's when you include the thought of your God in whatever form you believe that to be. Maybe Mother Earth is your God. Doesn't matter. But when you include your God in your deliberations about duty and about leadership, you also include that in your teachings to today's youth. Today's youth. Do you realize that we have men and women walking around that for them, 9/11 didn't even exist when they were born? We have a whole other generation walking around and making decisions as adults. And in some cases, we failed them. We failed to teach them about duty, leadership, and God. And we should all apologize for that. Now, luckily for me, I don't have to apologize to my daughter. Because every once in a while, she'll open her mouth and I'll come out. And it's just like a wonderful thing. I guess that's about it for today, because we have a whole bunch of happenings that I got to get to let you know what's going on in October. Today, and for the rest of the month, I would like you to vote for bitterglitter.us's model, Chelsea Van Maren, for the Face of Horror to win the Faces of Horror competition. And there's a cool graphic that's probably flashing up right now. This competition is going on. She's the model for Bitter Glitter. If you go over to bitterglitter.us, you'll see her picture there, right there on our header. And she's in this competition to win. And if she wins, she gets to be in a movie and gets $13,000. I personally would like her to win, because if she gets $13,000, I don't have to pay her as a model anymore. So please go vote for her and vote often. Also, you can vote for free, give her 1 vote a day for free, but you can buy votes, and those votes that you buy are tax deductible because they're going to the Starlight Children's Foundation, which is a very worthy cause. So go do that. Go vote for Chelsea Van Maren every single day. Now, this Saturday, if you would like to meet and greet me, you can, because I'll be out and about. On October 5th in Huntsville, it's the annual Fair on the Square. If you haven't been before, you should go. It's fun for all ages, and where my wife has a booth called Critter Creations, which is on 13th Street and Sam Houston Avenue, booth 53. And she makes the most adorable handmade crocheted creations, and I'll be playing with all during day. And I'll be there, so come by and bring me some coffee. Yes, it's a shameless promotion for my wife. Go to the Fair on the Square. It is a wonderful, wonderful event. There are literally thousands of booths that are selling something. It's where I always get my Christmas shopping done. Now, also coming up on October 18th and 19th is the Balloon Glow and Laser Show. If you've never been to a hot air balloon festival, we have one coming here to Conroe at the Expo Center. Or is it the Lone Star Convention Center? Is that what it's called? Lone Star Convention Center, says Dick. That's what it's called. Now, I have spoken with the event coordinator, and me and my assistant, Jim Sims, who is also a photographer, will be there, and we're going to do a Facebook Live event in the air from the patriotic-themed balloon. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go get your tickets. There's a link below, up top, sides, wherever they put them. It's a Facebook link to their Facebook page where you can buy tickets. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the ticket purchase is a little confusing because Free Tick, which is selling the tickets to the event, has this event and tickets listed for July. It didn't happen in July because they needed a staging area for the cleanup from the hurricane, so the event got pushed down to October. So you can buy tickets to get in the 18th or the 19th or both. You can buy VIP passes to go to the front of the line. If you want to go on a balloon ride, you do have to purchase that at the event itself. I have never been to a hot air balloon festival, but I'm going to go. It's from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. each day. Weather depending. So come on out the 18th or the 19th. Get a balloon ride, take some pictures. It's supposed to be an awesome event. I have never been, so I don't know what to expect, but I will be doing a Facebook Live post in the air from the festival on the 18th itself. Now, also on October 19th, the VFW Honor Guard is having a cook-off at VFW 4709. It's to benefit the Honor Guard. I can't think of a better, worthier cause in the VFW than the Honor Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honor Guard are the men and women that lay us to our final rest. And they do it, they take their own time, their own money to practice and to do this. We need to support them. So they're having a cook-off to raise some money. It just so happens that as of yesterday, I was talking to the team, and you still have time to enter your team for the cook-off. You can be a judge or just to partake in the barbecue and the desserts. The link is below, sides, wherever the hell the link is. And yes, there is a dessert category that you can enter this year. So it's a barbecue cook-off, not a chili cook-off. So you can be making your brisket, your chicken, your whatever not. Great event. Go do it. If you need more information, call the VFW or follow the link below. Now, on October 26th of this year will be the VFW's annual Trunk or Treat. This is where you go by the VFW, and this goes, did I put down when it starts and when it stops? No, I didn't put down. I think it's like it starts at 11, from 11 to 3, I think. But you pull by in the car, and, you know, kids within their costumes, everyone sees them. There's a judging going on. There's games and whatnot happening in the hall. But we give out candy. Now, last year, I got to tell you that the VFW gave out a boatload of candy and prizes for, like, the best costume, the best decorated car, best decorated motorcycle, things of that nature. They gave out a boatload of candy, but unfortunately, I'm never able to be there because the 26th of October is a travel day for me. So I want to put this out on the air, which will go out on Facebook Live, YouTube, City TV, right? So everybody knows that all the Tootsie Rolls are mine. So if you go and your kids are getting Tootsie Rolls, you need to grab those Tootsie Rolls away from them and give them back to Kelly and say, these are for Doug, because all the Tootsie Rolls are mine. It reminds me, I got to go to Sam's Club. I need to pick up candy. You know, you can get 25 pounds of candy for like next to nothing. And I don't believe in doing the chocolate because it's just going to melt. So that's all the time. Wrap it up. I think there's a little twirly finger. That means wrap it up. Okay, that does wrap up our show. Join us November 5th, and we'll be talking about the election. And we'll end our show, as we always do, with this song by the Warrior Song Project. And while we listen to this, let us remember our brothers and sisters who today are standing in harm's way for our liberties and our freedom. If you are wearing the uniform, I want to say to you, thank you. I want to say to you, I'm proud of you. And until next month, Stay safe and stay vigilant.